All right, welcome back to the Boys of 161st Street, episode 173. Today is November 4th, 2021. The season has officially ended. If you're wondering what happened last episode or last week's episode, nothing happened because we didn't have an episode because we didn't really want to talk about the only thing that really happened that time was the Gardy and Cole beef, and that wasn't necessarily the most pressing news. So, with that being said, we have a pretty loaded show for you today since we haven't talked to any of you wonderful listeners in 2 weeks. But yeah, before we get into that, how are we doing, fellas? The season's officially ended, and
Let's go Braves.
The Braves were able to get it done and be the team we needed them to be. That was of all the teams remaining, we had such a shitty. We had nothing to root for other than the Braves, and the Braves got it done. So
I mean, kind of cool thing about the Braves, if you look back to like June. When we had Colin on the show, he told us to take the Braves at 26-1 to win the NL pennant.
Did you see they also had a 0.3% chance to win at whatever date it was? Also, it's probably around that time, honestly.
It was
that he told us.
August 1st. They had I think it was 50-1 odds or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, wild. Good for them. It's just honestly, it's just the craziest thing to me that they won. And this is obvious. They won without Ronald Acuna is just still baffling to me. That's going to be something that, I mean, we talked all throughout the year about if we were to end up to win a World Series, just having these things on, the World Series tape, that would be something that is a pretty fucking cool thing to have on the World Series tape. I'm excited to watch that World Series. That World Series tape
of Judge going down and then replacing him with fucking Jorge Soler.
Yeah,
and winning a World Series.
Yeah. Anyway, how we doing?
I'm okay.
Murph, you good?
Yeah, doing well. Sorry, I had a little technical difficulty, but we're back. Doing well. Yeah.
I'm gonna be a lot better if Marcel can help me out on Saturday.
Yeah, so we announced to the faithful that Chandler was moving to the city. That still hasn't happened yet. He's been cucked out of multiple apartments along his journey. Hopefully he'll be here soon. He's got to be here soon for his next job that he's starting up. Because contrary to popular belief, we don't do this full time. It's we don't get paid, so that's cool. Let's talk a little bit about the Yankees. So honestly, we were gonna open up with a little bit of the Cole Gardner beef, and why don't we just open up with that briefly, touch on that, because I wanted to talk about obviously the news today is that Gardy. His option wasn't picked up. Was that the exact thing that happened? So I don't really.
He didn't pick up his player option. I think they had a mutual option and both of them declined. Maybe. I think that sounds right. I've seen that both declined, so I'm assuming that's what happened.
Regardless, he's a free agent. Darren O'Day's a free agent. That's sad. Do we think quick, immediate reaction to that? What do you think that means?
I think that means they're just cutting ties so they can sign him back to a long-term deal for cheaper. 10 years, $10 million.
So what do we actually think that means?
If I had to guess, actually, I mean, logically, I think he'd be gone, but I don't think that he's done until he officially announces a retirement.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I feel like it's not. They didn't make enough of a big deal about it. They didn't make enough of a deal about it for not renewing not the opt-in, just because he's the most tenured Yankee on the team. There's storylines about him coming back in situations like this. They would have made a bigger deal about it if he was actually gonna retire. I just don't see a world where that's the end of it. And that's when we stop talking about it. I guarantee you we're going to be talking about his contract again in a few weeks. I'm very confident about that.
In February, and we're just going to be. Maybe there's an explosive offseason if there even is a season next year, and everybody's all excited. They had that report come out that the Yankees were going to be big spenders. And then
we haven't talked about that since that report came out. A lot has happened in the last 2 weeks, contrary to popular belief. But Yankees are planned to be big spenders, according to who was that said that?
I don't know.
It was a baseball reporter. So
a credible source.
Somebody said it who wasn't a Twitter account by the name of Hoodie something. So that's good news. Obviously, we want that to happen, and we expected that. You know, if you don't do that, what are you really doing? You had one of the most embarrassing seasons to date, and you're not going to spend money, huh? Jim Bowden. He's a former GM of a team, so that's cool. I like seeing that. Murph, thoughts on this? Do you want Gardner back, regardless of what you think this means? Do you think it would be beneficial to have Gardner back? He did win the Silver Fox Award.
Yeah, it's hard to say no to that because
no, it's not.
For what we pay for him, like we're not really paying him very much, and I feel like this year especially, he played way above what we were paying him, and you can always use a guy like that.
No, we didn't.
You could always use a guy who's going to sign on as a fourth outfielder, then become your starting center fielder for 145 games.
That's what I mean. Like, put aside what his stats were. Like, he played a serviceable outfield.
I'm not going to put aside a guy's stats. That's like the whole way we measure him. Obviously, the leadership didn't work. We fucking barely made the playoffs. And 500, and we lost.
The leadership, I mean, this is probably a good segue to talk about the Cole versus Gardner situation. Like, first of all, I'll just address it. Elephant in the room. Cole was being a bitch. Like,
100%.
Cole was being the biggest pussy about it. This is what Gardner does, and honestly, the fact that Cole got mad is more concerning to me about Cole's presence in the locker room than Gardner's, because Gardy has done this. He does this with everybody. We always see the videos of him with Clint ripping or Tyler Wade and Clint, and he would rip Tyler Wade's sleeves off or whatever. He's like, "Oh, the sleeve monster get you," and then he ripped off his sleeves, and then he steals Clint's like last face mask or something. Like, he does this shit. That's why people like Gardner in the locker room. It's probably why people hate him on outside of the Yankees locker room. But I don't know, for Cole to do that, I think it's more of a concern for Cole than it is for Gardner.
No, I agree, but also at the same time, that's just not a very good. I mean, you guys are already not doing well, and no, I totally agree that Cole's being a giant bitch about it. But like, you know, maybe just have like a little bit of feel that he's just got rocked like 4 straight starts without Spider Tack. I don't.
Yeah, but like stuff like that. I mean, like, I don't know. No one really knows dynamics in the locker room from looking from the outside in, but I'm sure doing like funny shit like that sometimes loosens it up a little bit and maybe helps
the goose a little bit.
Yeah, helps him get back on track. You never know, and Gardner knows better than anybody else what a Yankee locker room needs sometimes. You know, so
yeah, maybe that's what he thought. That's what the Yankees needed at the time, is like a little lighthearted humor in a sticky situation.
Nice one.
Oh, good one, Luke. I didn't even plan for that, but Murph with the delayed fuse on that one. He didn't get it at first. But
no, I got it. I just thought about it more. Like I like smiled at first, and then
was it funnier because it wasn't planned?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Cool.
It always is.
Yeah, next time I'll tee it up for myself. I'll do it again. I'll ruin it. I'll run it into the ground like I do with most things. But I don't even know where I was starting with that. Oh, no, I just think that's what he did on purpose because he wanted to clear the air and make fun of it. Obviously, he didn't think Cole would react to that. And, I mean, this is the last I think we're going to talk about this. I just think Cole was being a bitch. That's the moral of the story. What do you think, Murph?
I'd say Cole's being a bitch, and it's probably being blown way out of proportion. It probably was not like that big of a fight.
Yeah, I feel like people were trying to almost spin it as that was the demise of the Yankees this year. Like, oh, locker room issues were the reason why the Yankees were bad. It's like, no, we were just bad.
I mean, here's the thing. If it was a big story, then we would have heard about it when it happened. But because we heard about it months later, that just means that it doesn't really matter, but they're just bringing it up now because there's nothing else to talk about.
All I know
so let's
is
just bring it up.
We get rid of locker room guy Luis Sessa, and all of a sudden the clubhouse has rumors of turmoil.
Fuck you.
It's got a point.
That happened way before Luis Sessa. Luis Sessa has nothing to do with anything good on that team.
Hey, Luis Sessa was basically a Cy Young since he left, so Murph might have a point here.
I'm sick of the Sessa slander. I don't care that he's gone.
It's never going to happen. It probably will still happen. I was going to say it's never going to happen again because he's not on the Yankees, but it's probably going to continue to happen because Chandler's on this podcast.
I don't know about Gardy. Now that he doesn't get his option, I don't think he's going to come back. But if we can get him back again for less money than we normally did.
I'm going to be honest. I'm a big Gardy hater. Hand in the air.
Crazy.
I don't think it would be a bad thing to bring him back. The way
keep
here's why.
bringing him
Can you
back,
can I explain myself?
Yes.
Because I have ragged on Gardy in the past. Because for good reason. He did bat 211. He did have not a great year. He played a lot of games. He played 140 games this year. Won the Silver Fox Award. Highly coveted award. That's probably up in his trophy case, considering he's made one All-Star team in his entire career. But I think it would make a lot of sense for him to be on this team because I'm pretty sure his contract was in the 10 million range for 1 year, which is that's more than I thought we should have paid him to begin with. But considering how much we paid for an outfielder like that, I could see Murphy's looking up his contract for the year. I think it was 12 million.
It was not even close. It was 1
It was
million.
like 5.
You sure?
It was 1.85. Yeah, not even.
And was it the year before that they gave him 12 million as a courtesy? Because I remember they gave him so they had a different 1 year contract the year before, right?
Yeah, because they weren't going to bring him back next year, and he took the most team friendly of team friendly deals to come back, and that's why I'm so confused that we're not okay with paying a guy like that.
Of course, if that's the case,
here's 122 games, you're not going to get anybody.
Well, here's what I'm pissed off about. It has nothing to do with the money. You've got a farm system loaded down with center field talent, and you're just going to let him sit there and fucking rot and not give him a shot. Like Florial has come up and he's been at least okay. He's done better than Gardner has. Greg Allen. I mean, as much as we love him and joke about it, Brandon Lockridge, he's a good fucking player.
Working out with Judge.
Friend of the pod.
2019, he made 7.5 million.
That was prorated.
I don't care about the money.
That wasn't.
I don't give a shit about the money. The point is this: you have these young guys that are sitting down there just tearing up the minor leagues, or even if they're not tearing up their minor leagues, you have highly touted prospects that aren't ever going to get a shot because you have a 40-year-old that's hitting 211. If he was coming back and he was a true outfielder and he was coming in and hitting 280, he was stealing bases, he was still an elite defender, which he's not anymore, then okay. And he was a locker room guy to where it actually made a difference. I'm sorry. CC Sabathia is a locker room guy who makes a difference. Bringing CC Sabathia back to come out of the pen for half a year, start, 10, 12 games.
Like a bench coach or something, honestly.
That's a locker room guy. Brett Gardner's not a fucking locker room guy. I mean, I know he's a locker room guy, but he's not the one that's going to push you to the next level.
People do
right
always
now, he's
say
just bogging down the roster.
People do always say highest, longest tenured Yankee, enough of the Gardy disrespect, all that, and I'm there for it. I'll give the man his due, but I think you kind of hit it on the nose. He's not I feel like a lot of people hang on to that because he's been here for so long, and because he's the longest tenured Yankee, he's the last of the ones that won in 2009. So it's just that's why people are oh, he's just gonna be he's just naturally a good locker room guy, but I don't think really that's the case. I just think he could be, but he's not defaulted to be that guy because he's just been here a long time.
I think he's a fine locker room guy. I think he's a good veteran presence. There you go. That's what he is. He's not the glue that holds the team together. He's not gonna fire everybody up for a big game.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think it would be worth it. Raise your hand. Not raise your hand because this is a podcast too. The audio version, the audio only people would hate that. Bad radio, Murph likes to say. But all in favor of bringing back Gardy, say aye.
Aye.
That's Murph and Luke.
Aye, if he is a fourth outfielder, actually.
He's not.
So,
it doesn't matter. We could sign Starling Marte and he wouldn't be the fourth outfielder.
Dude, yes, he would. A, and B, we know there's a reason that they didn't pick up the deal, and there's a reason that he declined the deal. I don't know if that means if we're paying him any more than 1.8 million, then I'm a little more skeptical. He's obviously, for what we paid for him last year, not worth any more than that. Obviously, he's worth less, but if we can get him back for 1.3, 1.5 or something,
worth less.
Why the hell not?
Or because you can have Esteban Florial for $555,000.
You're still paying him the same thing. It's not like he's breaking the cap, so why not bring him back?
Because you have somebody who's younger who needs to learn how to play at the big league level, who's just going to sit in AAA year after year.
It doesn't matter. They brought Ryan Lamar up before they brought Florial up. He's still not the next guy all the time.
I disagree. I think Florial has a real shot to be in lineup this upcoming year.
But he wasn't even the first guy up from AAA.
They always like to prospect hug and keep him down because they don't want to rush the progression and stuff like that. So that's why they did that. I really think Florial has a good shot.
It's not Gardy's fault that he wasn't up. Obviously, Florial's probably better than Gardy. Even if Gardy's on the roster, they're and Florial's ready.
No, and we like to say that all the time. We like to say, like, with the Clint situation, that was the big bugaboo we had why we were pissed off that Clint was being held down because Gardy, and we'd be pissed if that happened. It turns out Clint held himself down for other reasons outside of the field, but it's just like, I don't think that Gardy at this point will be the deciding factor of keeping like talented guys like Florial and even Brandon down. I hope that's the case. I really don't think at this point, I think he plays out of necessity, and that's why I'm okay with him being on the roster for so cheap, because I'd rather have a guy who's, let's call it, anyway, let's put it in like MLB The Show terms, because for whatever reason it makes sense. Like a lower tier guy, talent-wise, but you have the veteran presence in that regard. I'd rather have that than an up-and-coming guy who's going to be a little worse off. No, I'm not saying as a starter. I'm not saying as a starter.
Season, when Greg Allen was the one that got the call and he wasn't starting over Gardner, everybody threw a fit. I'm
just saying having him on the roster as a reserve, because the way this outfield and team is built, they're built to get hurt. They're built to not be built. So more often than not, we're gonna need that fucking. I mean, this year, look at what happened this year. We needed our 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th outfielders. Greg Allen had a pretty substantial role in this team. And if I told you that Greg Allen would be one of the heroes of the fucking summer, what would you say? Shit went south. That sucks. Like, that's kind of where we're at every year. And why do you think next year will be any different? So that's why adding Gardner for fucking $1 million is not a bad move, especially in an offseason where they just said they're going to spend money. So why does it fucking matter?
I really don't think they're going to bring him back. I think if they were going to bring him back, they would have picked up his option. So I think we're kind of like wasting a little breath here.
All right, so let's move on. So let's move on to people that we do think are going to come back. Let's get into our free agent wish list. I had each of them write down 3 people they want to pursue, not via trade. That was a big little skirmish we had before we got on the air. So why don't we start with? Do you want to do this one by one, like a draft, or do you want to just go over your lists and then like see who has the overlap or whatever?
Let's do one by one.
One by one.
I was gonna say list. Okay, Damon.
Fine, let's do a list.
Let's do a list. No, Chandler, give your list.
No, yeah, Chandler, let's do Chandler's way. Go for it, Chandler.
I wasn't saying. I was saying I liked your idea. So.
I'll do a list because
I
feel like we won't have as much overlap as I thought initially we would.
I think we will.
Okay. Well, my list. This is a wish list also. Like, I'm not factoring in. I don't know. Just list to it and then we can talk about it.
So are you saying this is
I don't think it's realistic.
Not all together. You're saying I want these 3 top. I want 3 of my top, but it won't necessarily work in unison.
These are 3 people that I think would tremendously benefit the team, but I don't think they would A, spend the money, and I don't think B, that there's necessarily a fit for one of them.
Okay.
But I think he would be a tremendous asset to the lineup. So I have Seager at 1, obviously. I've been an advocate of that for months now. I have Carlos Rodon. Again, we don't have a 2 starter. We've got a 1 starter and then a bunch of hurt guys and 4 starters. And then here's the one I was talking about. Free agent as of today, Nick Castellanos. I think he would be an awesome addition to this team. I mean, his numbers speak for themselves. So,
what are his numbers for this year?
I think he hit 309, OPS just shy of 1,000.
You just know that off the dome.
I was looking at it earlier.
I have a lot of free
Castellanos
guy.
I
actually would love that because we would fucking run that into the ground. That one wouldn't get old, and I feel like it has already gotten old. But I think him coming here, that would be a lot of fun for us.
I don't know if I love Castellanos.
How do you not love Castellanos?
I don't.
What is there not to like?
Like, it's not the
bad defender. Do we need another outfield liability?
We don't have a lot of outfield liability really when everybody's healthy. The problem is that nobody's ever healthy.
He would end up slotting into right field basically, or
he's a lefty, no?
No.
No, he's a right. Oh, he's a righty, right, drive to left.
I just think he fits a lot of needs offensively. He fills a lot of holes. He hits for contact. He hits for power.
He does hit. Yeah, you're right. 309 batting average, 34 home runs. Career 278 hitter. It's not a fluke that he had that this year. 3.3 WAR this year.
He just opted out of a 2-year, $34 million contract, which means he's looking for a little bit more.
He had a good season, so he's probably
he's gonna get a 9-figure contract.
That's gonna. I don't mean, like. Do you think that's in the Yankees' budget to sign a right fielder?
No, that's what I was
for
saying.
that much. I don't think
that's
so.
What I was saying up front. That this is a total just wish list. If it was MLB The Show and I could just force people wherever.
Force trade.
I could like play him at second base and it wouldn't hurt me.
He does play third also, but I don't know if we want that.
Yeah,
he plays third.
Yeah.
The primary outfield, that is a dog
that's
shit
the
outfield.
MLB The Show move.
That's like
came
saying
up as a
Andahar
third.
plays left field. Like
or
really?
plays
Castiano's
third.
Castiano's
Third.
It's like Gary playing catcher. Like
That's
actually this is not on my list, but I was looking up like who the Yankees were even eyeing as far as catchers go, like in the free agency. There was talk of Roberto Perez.
I saw that too.
The Indians catcher, or I'm sorry, the Guardians catcher.
Good catch.
Yeah, sorry, I can't. Whatever.
Very
Terrible
correct
hitter,
of you.
but so is Gary. But he has won 2 Gold Gloves in the last 3 years.
And they hit for the same power.
Yeah, like
That's like what I've been saying about the catcher position as a whole for the longest time is like the catcher position throughout the league is bad. There's only a few all around good catchers like JT Realmuto and Grandal and guys like that. Like if we have guys who can hit like we do 1 through at this point now it's like 1 through 5, but it used to be 1 through 8, but we'll see when they retool and everything like that. If we have hitters 1 through 8 or 1 through 7 or whatever, you can afford to have one guy just be that. Like with Gary, I've always said this, and I'm not going to beat a dead horse any more than I already have, but it's like I'd rather have somebody who won't give up runs defensively and just like hold your own offensively. And Gary was giving up runs defensively and not doing anything offensively, so like that's not ideal. So that's why I'm cool with getting a guy like Roberto Perez. Another name that people were talking about, not to derail Chandler's list, but Tucker Barnhart, a lot of people were talking about, and he just got moved to, wasn't there a deal in place? Traded for who? To what team? From the Reds, right? He's
Tigers.
Yeah, to the Tigers. So he's not going to be available anymore. A lot of people were talking about him. I don't really know that I wanted him. Did people want him mainly because he was a young lefty?
He's a pretty good defensive catcher, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the mental lapses. The play against the Mets with Gary Sanchez.
We're not doing this right now.
No, I'm just telling you.
We're not talking about Gary fucking Sanchez.
Please don't. I know you can, and I know you probably have good points, but can we just not?
You brought it up. What the fuck are you talking about?
All right, I'm done. He brought it up.
Well, you can't bring it up and then me like.
He did.
Okay, well, you kept going.
I'm done.
I don't care who started it. I'm ending it.
All right, we're done.
Okay, well, my list is over. Those were 3. But like I said, I think Castellanos would be a good fit. I don't think there's necessarily a fit defensively or whatever, but I think his bat would play well.
So I had Rodon on my list as well.
I did too.
So he wasn't on my list, but if you guys have Rodon on your list, I'm assuming you don't also have Guzman. Or
Gausman.
No. Sorry. Gausman. Sorry.
No, I don't. I was looking at him though. He had a good year, so.
Well, no, I've kind of been eyeing him. I think he was in the Cy Young or something. Not this year, but the year before. Like he's been pretty good for 2 years. Like, I feel like he'd be a decent number 2 behind Cole, but I feel like he would cost more than Rodon.
I want a proven 2 starter. I don't want. I don't want any more one breakout year reclamation projects.
No,
Rodon's been a solid top of the order arm for a while.
And I also think that
2 years in a row.
2 years in a row, I don't know. I don't care. I want a track record of success. Carlos Rodon's been solid. You know what you're getting for 5 years now out of Rodon.
Yeah.
Gausman was terrible on the Orioles.
Everyone's terrible on the Orioles.
He's got a 4
Cedric
career
Mullins.
ERA. He's been in the league. He's 30 years old. He did have.
Yeah, but
he had a fantastic Cy Young year this year.
Are you talking about Gossman?
Yeah, he had a 5.3 WAR, 14-6 record with 2.81 ERA.
He also wasn't even. He was
disgusting.
not that bad in Baltimore. He was really bad in Atlanta and Toronto, or total, not Toronto. He was really bad in Atlanta.
I wouldn't be upset about it. I don't think necessarily. I know he's coming off of like a fantastic year, but I don't think he's not. He doesn't have that name. I still think, even though he had such a good year this year, I don't think he's gonna cost as much as like a guy who already had the name and then had a year even less than that. I don't know. I don't think he has as much of a pull. Maybe that's just me talking, but I don't know.
I was also making up the Cy Young thing.
No, that was the real thing. That was the reason why the Giants were so good. It was him and Alex Wood was having a fucking.
No. I know, but I was thinking the year before, like 2020.
Think about San Francisco though too when you're thinking about his numbers. San Francisco is like the most pitcher-friendly ballpark in the entire game. It's like fucking, God damn it. Oh my God, I completely forgot the name of it.
Good one. So another person on my list is
That was mean.
Rodon, and I also had, everybody can probably guess this, say it all together with me. Starlin Marte is. No, I didn't have Corey Seager because I'm starting to go the route of Correa, and I put Correa on that list just because he's just good. I've stopped giving a fuck about the cheating thing. Now that they lost, whatever, we're not going to wash it away, pack it away type thing. But like, if he can play, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Like, I'd rather have a villain and be hated than be laughed at. I just don't care at this point. I think Correa is a fucking awesome player. I think he's better defensively than Seager is. Seager, they're already talking about moving him to third base if you sign him to a long, wildly large deal, moving him from.
Fine.
Good.
Exactly.
Yes, I know, because then you have shortstops coming up, and then
that's the thing about signing
whatever.
somebody to a huge deal is that you've got two great shortstops coming through the pipeline.
You're right, and that could work out too. I'm not saying I would be upset if I had Seager. That's totally a plan.
I would be upset if we had Correa.
I don't think that I would, and
I would be happy with Correa. I think Seager's a better fit. I think it just makes more sense.
I would be less happy with Correa just because I don't like him.
I want to throw things at him. Like I don't like him.
I know some of us are saying, you know, I don't care and I'll root for him, and obviously I root for him, but I'll root for him just a little bit less because I still don't like his face.
You're right, and I would too. I'm just saying for the team.
I feel like just some bad juju in the locker room too.
Oh yeah, because fucking
there's gonna be some terrible
juju happening right now.
Like they didn't just have a big brawl, just beat him up the first day or something like that, and just get it all out there.
Yeah.
Take his lunch money.
Take his lunch money, get it out there, prank him like a rookie for the first year, and then
they do a Yes Network special of them just hazing the bejesus out of Correa.
If there was like a haze week, then I'm okay with that. Just for him though, a Correa haze week. And then I'll be okay signing him.
So you guys cool with Corey? Are we across the board on a Starlin Marte center field thing? Because there's a report that actually did come out, that same one that said we were going to spend money. I'll actually pull up the exact report so I don't butcher this. It was.
I did not put Marte on my list.
I have it right here. I have it right here. Well, I put it in the Slack because I use the Slack. Per Jim Bowden. So the Yankees fans, put on your seatbelts because the Bronx Bombers are going to do everything they can to land one of the elite shortstops, Carlos Correa, Corey Seager, Trevor Story. In free agency, I'm hearing they also would like to improve catcher and center field and want to add another starting pitcher. Free agent outfielder Starling Marte would be a great fit at the top of their lineup. I've been saying that for actually fucking since the trade deadline and months before that when I saw him in Miami, like, the second month of the season, and I would absolutely love it. And the reason why, and I'll reiterate for those of you who are tuning into the show for the first time, welcome in. But I would love to have him in that spot at the deadline because it wasn't a deadline move only. I wanted him to be that guy, to be our center fielder of the future, because it would solve the problem of having a leadoff hitter. He's a better leadoff hitter than DJ is too. He's a more prototypical leadoff hitter. He has speed, he steals bases, he hits for average just like DJ did. DJ didn't even hit for as good as average as he did this year. So he's hitting for better average as of late than DJ is. maybe that was because DJ wasn't healthy or not, but he's a better leadoff hitter than DJ is.
He's 32.
Is still running like a fucking spring chicken. He stole 47 bases or something like that.
Yeah, for now, but how long are we signing him? Because he's not going to have wheels at the end of his contract.
I think
like the idea of trading for Ketel Marte. I've seen a lot of stuff about that, which not to derail your thing. I just
last point.
I lump all the Martes in together. So
yeah, get all the Martes. I was just gonna say Hicks is not a thing anymore.
No, so. I think we have to go under the assumption that Aaron Hicks is just not it.
No, I don't even think he gets a roll call. This
I don't want to talk about it. I don't think he should play.
I think he's gonna be the opening day starter.
So going back to
Marte, you think Hicks is gonna be the opening day starter?
I mean,
he's 100%.
Going back to Marte though, I never have included Marte on this list because I just didn't think it was something that was even moderately going to happen. The same way I didn't think Darren O'Day was going to come to the Yankees, but somehow you found a way to speak it into existence. This is obviously.
I said it with Kluber too, but I really wanted O'Day.
Kluber was different. Kluber was a little different. He made more sense at the time, and it was kind of a pipe dream. It's okay, that'd be cool, but do we really need it? And would they actually go for it?
And it was a last second thing.
And it just seemed too crazy at the deadline, which it was, but
part of Cashman's
then now too, still I'm so now the fact that you say that and knowing what happened with O'Day and that you're that passionate, and that's your in guy.
I mean, it makes sense. Now I think Jim Bowden is literally saying, just another guy randomly is oh, this would be a great fit. From the outside looking in, I've been seeing this was a great fit for so long, and just I don't know. I just don't know why you wouldn't. And especially when you can get he's a righty, and that was probably the bigger reason why you wouldn't have gotten him at the deadline, because you're trying to get lefties in the lineup. But now we have lefties, and now you can afford to get a righty. You're not just handicapped to just getting the lefties only. You can get, and especially if you're going to go get Seager and him, you're adding a lefty and a righty, and it all works out. And then you get my ideal offseason that sounds like they can actually do is Starlin Marte. Let's go get Seager. Why not Correa and Rodon? And I think you can do those three things, and then make a lateral move at catcher or something to get a guy like you said, fucking
Perez. He's not chump change. He was a $7 million that option that they declined, so you're probably gonna give him 6.5, 6.6.
I'm sure it's okay. They said they were gonna spend some cash.
No, I just don't believe it. I don't believe that they're gonna spend cash.
Neither will I. But
I honestly, I don't even think the season is gonna be played in normal time.
Why, you think the labor negotiations for the CBA are going to be?
Yeah, I think a strike is almost inevitable. So,
I don't know. I think I don't know if this makes any sense or will actually change anything, but I think since the Astros didn't win, it is less likely to be a strike. If the Astros won,
nothing.
I know, but in my mind, I feel like just people would be more upset, players as well. If the Astros won the World Series, it'd be all right, fuck this. Let's go on strike. That it's almost like the cherry on top. If you were going to strike, now you're definitely going to strike. But if you maybe yes or no, I'll strike. Now it's whatever. At least the Astros didn't go ahead and win it. I don't know.
Respectfully, that might be the worst thing you've ever said on here. I think it's more of how about we get our minor league players some housing. Something like that. I don't think that really has anything to do with the fucking.
Well, they got their housing.
I understand that.
How's Lockridge doing?
That as an example.
It's a long time coming.
What do you mean? How's he doing?
Did he get a house?
I mean, not right now. The season hasn't started. It's November.
The season could
not
bullshit.
Good job, Manfred.
Insider news: the deal's bullshit.
Good job, Manfred.
I feel like we've kind of talked about I don't even have to say my list. I've got Rizzo on there. I think
I do too, Murph.
But Rizzo, I have tied in with this next guy who was not even on my radar until recently. It's Chris Bryant. I don't think that would be the worst thing in the world.
I love Chris Bryant.
I love Chris Bryant. He's really not that old. He's been playing very well. You'd probably have to pony up for him a little bit, but he plays third. He plays all the outfield positions, and he plays first. And we definitely need a guy probably in the next few years to play third that can hit. He's a decent enough fielder. And then if we really need somebody in center field and we don't get
Marte, confident in Miggy?
No, I'm not.
Oh, my God.
I feel like we kind of could use a guy that plays a little bit utility and has a bat that works.
I like that idea, Murphy.
So
I like it too.
That's one of those things. It's like a pipe dream. I know Seattle's big on them or on him. They were trying to trade for him at the deadline, and then
I saw a lot of stuff
Now
about him to
they're
the
talking-
Mets.
Yeah, I
I
saw that
fucking
same
would
thing.
be so sad if he went to the Mets. That'd be kind of cool. He and Baez again.
Speaking of
but-
Mets, isn't Baez also, not that I want him, he'd be the worst
Baez is a
thing.
free agent, yeah.
Oh, he's a free agent.
He would be if anybody listening wants Javi Baez, no.
No.
Yeah.
Would you rather have Baez or Story?
Story. Why is
What
that even a
kinda
question?
I'd rather
Baez
have
has the-
Gleyber than Baez.
No, I
Yeah, I would too.
If you ask me
That's
that
not a
question
joke
at the
either. I
beginning
think
of
I would rather have Glaber than Baez.
I was kind of exaggerating, but
Yes,
now that
but-
I think about it, like,
Yeah, Glaber has upside. Baez is just a cocksucker already in New York, and he strikes out more than fucking Judge and Stanton combined. So
if you can't handle the
I
Mets
still,
media, you're not.
we're
gonna be
all
able to handle
agreeing
the
that Story's
Yankees.
not it.
I don't know that Story's not it, but it's just
He's the third out of the top
I'd rather-
three that I.
Third,
Yeah,
I
he's the
could-
third out of the top three.
I don't know that it would be settling if we got Story. I still think I would be happy, and I'll put that on
Yeah, I'd still
record
be
right
happy.
now. Like if we didn't get Seager, if he went back to LA and Correa went to like the fucking Tigers, or I don't know what he's doing because he wants to go hang out with AJ Hinch again. I don't know, but like maybe they're gonna start cheating again. Imagine the Tigers just become great because they start up another cheating scandal over there.
Cold and they don't have
Just-
any fans.
They got
You can hear the
4K
trash can.
cameras in center field. I just don't. I don't know. I don't think I would. I'll put it on record that I won't be fucking sad by any means if we got Story, and I think and not even I won't be sad. I think it would be great if we got Story. He's speed. He's a righty. He hits for power, and not that we necessarily need. He's a great fucking player. He's a good
The
player.
only one of the shortstops that's one of the major shortstops that would make me a little uneasy. I don't count Baez as a major shortstop. Sorry, is Simeon. I don't know that I trust him to come to New York and take over at short. He was not a great defensive shortstop. He was serviceable at second base. I actually think he's a Gold Glove finalist, but so he's more than serviceable. He's a good second baseman. I don't think that a position change moving to New York and he's in his 30s is really worth the high dollar amount. It's kind of what you were saying, Rella. I think last episode was if you miss out on those, the Story, Seager, and Correa, don't go pressing to get Simeon and overpay for him. I don't think he's the guy you overpay.
Yeah, because
That's the only
said,
one that would make me like, ew.
Yeah, because I said specifically don't go after Simeon just to settle because you need to fill a spot because you can. That's exactly I said specifically that I don't go after him. Go after Chris Bryant, like you said, Murph, because I'd rather pivot to a third baseman, get the top of the line guy there rather than trying to frantically fill the shortstop position just to do it. Get Chris Bryant, get Andrelton Simmons to hold you over for a younger. No, I'm just saying, just like as a Perez type contract, get a fucking guy who can just play defense, and then you can for no money, and you can just wait until the prospects come up, like in that way. But you're getting a bopper at third base instead in Chris Bryant. So like, it all works out that way. Because let's say, Murphy, if you get a shortstop, what are you doing at third base? You're probably not going to spend a lot on third base. So then you get a guy of the caliber of Andrelton Simmons at third. So it's kind of pick your poison there.
It's out of the question, we think, to get Chris Bryant and one of these shortstops.
I do think it's out of the
Yeah,
question. Because then you're
I
not going
think
to get a pitcher.
Story.
I mean, that's $500 million.
No,
right
you're
there.
No,
not.
I
gonna
think
get that.
Story. I think Story's like gonna be pretty high paid. Obviously, Seager.
All
and
three of
obviously
those guys
Correa.
are going to get paid.
All three are going to be
lots.
over
Simeon,
$200
I feel
million,
like-
and Bryant turned down a $200 million extension.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
They're all gonna be multi-year deals too. They're all gonna be expensive deals. Like you're not gonna get more than one of those
He's gonna
guys.
be paying $45.
all are going to
for
be
beer if
close
that
to 10
happens.
years and probably 25 plus.
If we did
average.
get Bryant, we would have 3 MVPs on our team. I'm counting
Ex
Judge.
MVPs.
I'm counting Judge, yeah.
But I feel like it kind of like supports conversation going back to like the other players on our list. Like if we're only gonna get one of these guys, if our target is a shortstop, that's our priority, then we're gonna have one big contract signed this offseason, which means there's not gonna be a ton of room to like play around with other big names. So you gotta look for those best value players, which I feel like you know.
Perez, like Simmons, if you go third base.
I think Rodon could be a realistic option because
Rodon's going to get paid.
No, but
He's
I've
not
been
a
hearing
cheap
too that
option.
I've been hearing too that like because he had like some shoulder injury too that teams are hesitant to giving him a long-term deal, but a short-term deal could be a good value pick, and that's kind of the perfect situation for the Yankees.
I didn't know about.
So
How
who
do
are
you
like?
feel about Stroman?
It's a good topic.
I wouldn't be.
Damon likes Stroman.
I like Stroman
because he can rap.
That's not at
I
all a
hate
reason
Stroman.
why.
Because he's friends with Mike Stud. That's why. That is a reason why.
Stroman is in my
sure.
same category of hatred as
I just like the way he plays. I like the way he plays
You
baseball.
like that he's friends with Mike Stud. I think that weighs 50% for your like of.
I'd say
of
30%.
Stroman.
How can you be a Yankees fan and like Stroman?
I like the way he plays. I don't know. I don't know. He's like a
Bitch, honestly.
I will say that
he
He
definitely is.
complains like every 3 weeks about not being a Yankee.
Sure, whatever. I mean, yeah, I've also there's some bad blood between him and the Yankees.
Well,
and
Cashman said like, what was it? Does anybody know the exact quote? 'Cause I'm gonna butcher it.
He
to
said
an
we
extent.
didn't think like any of the options that were available would have helped our team.
No,
or
I
would
think
have
he
been an
specifically
upgrade.
said I didn't
Didn't
think
say anything about
he
Stroman.
would have an impact.
He didn't say Stroman's name. He said any of the guys that we were rumored to get we didn't feel like it was like worth it, that they would have been a significant
I
upgrade.
thought he mentioned him, but I'll start that rumor. I don't give a fuck. Like,
Yeah.
I was just
I
saying-
don't think he said his name. I don't think
All right,
Cashman's
so
that dumb.
started here today that he did say his name, and
Definitely did not.
either way, I think one thing of note of like Stroman potentially coming to the Yankees is he's done it in New York already. So he's not done like fantastic, but he hasn't blown up like.
I mean,
Pretty
like,
damn good.
Last
Yeah.
year he had a pretty damn good year.
Okay, there you go. So even better. I'm just saying he certainly was not like a Sonny Gray guy. He can handle New York, is what I'm saying.
I would
that's
love
it.
Stroman the pitcher, not the person.
Okay, so
I
let's just
think-
round up all the guys who stink personality-wise. Let's get Correa. If we go the Stroman route, we have to get Correa.
Yeah, get
Fact
Stroman,
or
get Correa,
fiction?
go trade for Yuli Gurriel. Like, let's just go ahead and
Just get
bring
all
in
the assholes in the league.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of perusing like the free agents right now. I haven't heard anything about this, but apparently Conforto hasn't gotten a qualifying offer yet.
I still don't believe Conforto is good, and every Mets fan will never let us hear the end of Conforto's the best left fielder in baseball or right fielder, whatever the fuck he is. It's just like, no, he's not.
But also, like,
I know he's got pretty good numbers, but like
He's had like
he's
3
not,
really
though.
good half seasons.
Right?
Yeah,
I
no,
feel like it's always
I'm
the
looking
first
at
half.
these, like middle of the road guys that are going to be the high value guys. That's what I'm trying to look at. His name kind
But
of.
like in my
poked
mind,
out.
if we're not getting a true center fielder that can like be a speed contact guy like Starling Marte,
It's Starling Marte. or
then
bust.
there's no fucking reason to get an
I
outfielder.
would rather have
he's
Kettle
not like
Marte
the
than
he's
Starlin.
not really going to be that low ABV or AAV guy though.
But there's just no reason to get another outfielder just to if they're not going to be like a starting center fielder. That
What about
is
like a
fast.
Chris Taylor?
Yes.
I wouldn't be upset with
actually-
that,
Sure,
yeah.
I had
scrappy
Chris
center
Taylor.
fielder. Yeah,
I had Chris Taylor in my initial offseason plan.
is he a free agent?
Yeah.
So he is eligible for a qualifying offer. I
Either way,
don't
yeah.
think he's going to get one.
They got a lot of people to pay over there, so I'm
Yeah,
I'm
I
curious
don't
to see
think
what
he's going to
happens.
get. He's not going to get one.
I mean,
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know.
think money's an issue. They had
Oh
like
no, he's a free agent. He did not.
$290
He did not get a
million
qualifying offer, so he's a free agent. Oh no, wait, I lied. He's still eligible, but they haven't extended one yet.
I was gonna say I don't think they've done the qualifying.
I fully
offer yet,
believe
Ruby.
everybody says like, oh, they can't possibly bring back everybody.
Yes, they
I
can.
just can see in like 2 months when this offseason really like winter meetings comes along, and it's like, how did they bring back everybody?
Yeah, they brought back everybody and added Correa.
and added and
Yeah,
because well, also keep in mind
Lost Seeger
isn't
added
Bauer technically a free agent or what's
no,
the deal with
he
that?
opted into his
Yeah,
contract. So
Okay,
he's getting
so-
How?
another 40
And it's like
million.
40 million. Yeah.
Yeah,
How is he even like eligible? How do they not have a club option?
I don't know.
it,
I'm
it
just
was
saying.
a player option. And
Yeah.
No, I know. Like obviously he has a player option, so he opts in, but they didn't have a club option on that contract. Because
Oh,
obviously they would
dudes.
opt out of 40 million for that guy.
Fucking dudes making
I don't
$40
I don't
million
think they have
to
to
make
play him
vlogs
if
all day.
he's. I don't think he's playing if he's suspended. Either way, that's not an issue. The point is, the Dodgers had a $300 million payroll. I don't think that money's an issue.
Even with that, even with
So
the
do
Bauer
we,
thing.
though, like,
No, we didn't.
no, I'm saying like, how are they able to do that? And then we're not able to sign.
If
him?
ownership wants to spend money, they can.
Could you
See,
I
imagine?
mean, well, we're
it-
gonna go over the luxury tax this year because
No,
we
we're
didn't
not.
last year.
I think we will, and I'll put that down now, just because I think the fans will really start to resent this
we already
front office more, like way more than because we are starting to resent them and have been for a little bit, because we see it. We see like the writing on the wall and like what's actually happening, and they're intentionally not doing things that they should be because of money. That we see, but eventually the casual fan, who is the majority of ticket sales, is going to see that. And I think this is a pivotal season for the Yankees, because everybody's fucking talking about the fact that we haven't been to the World Series in X amount of years or whatever, and we're just barely making the fucking playoffs and wild card. We wouldn't have made the playoffs last year if it was the regular playoff format, if they didn't add the extra wild card spots. Just like everybody knows it, and like it's not hidden anymore. So like that's why they have to fucking pony up and spend money, and I believe they will.
I was thinking about today, and it's a little off topic, but kind of on the same thing. I want to blow it up. Not like blow it up to where we're losing 100 games, but if there was substantial changes on this team outside of Judge, Stanton, Cole, Loaizaga, I don't really care. Anybody else that wasn't on the team next year, I wouldn't be upset at all. Like, even a little bit.
I mean,
that includes like Glaber, that includes Gio, that includes, Luke Voigt. There's a lot of players on this team. I don't really care if they're here next year or not. And I've defended a lot of the people on this team for a long time, but clearly somebody hit on it earlier a couple weeks ago that we don't even have a championship window anymore. That window, the Baby Bombers window's closed.
No, we got to start new.
Quit 100%. Trying to fucking hang on to that. Get rid of the dead weight. And like I said, there's nobody on this team outside of those people I just mentioned that are untouchable. I think if you can realistically upgrade at any of those positions, you don't think twice about it. There's no preserving anything. There's no clubhouse dynamic. There's no identity to this team. There's no core. Go fucking.
So let's play a quick game. Let's play a quick game. Me and you, Chandler. Okay. Sorry, guys. Stay or go. Real quick lightning round. Anthony Rizzo, stay or go.
Go.
Luke Voigt, stay or go.
Go.
I honestly thought Voigt was gone already, to be honest. But that's where I am mentally with him. Gio Urshela, stay or go.
Stay for now, and depending on the free agency.
Gleyber Torres, stay or go.
Same thing.
Aaron Judge, stay or go.
Stay.
Giancarlo Stanton, stay or go.
Stay.
Aaron Hicks, stay or go.
Fuck you, Aaron Hicks.
Andrew Heaney, stay or go.
Andrew Heaney's already, unfortunately, a free agent.
Corey Kluber, stay or go.
Go.
Brett Gardner?
Fuck.
One last thing?
Nope.
Who else in the team? Gary's obviously a go. I don't know. I'm with you. And here's what I've been promoting.
Tyone.
Oh yeah, Sevy, stay or go.
Stay. Tyone, go. I don't really care. Actually, Tyone's fine.
Lasagna has to stay.
Stay.
Chapman.
Don't really care if he left.
I don't disagree there.
As long as he can be replaced, I think.
No, he is replaced.
Well, I'm in terms of like.
This is what pisses me off. It's not a talent thing.
Not a closer, a bullpen arm.
It's not a talent thing. It's the fact that we have so much fucking dead money put into the bullpen. You have $28 million between him and Britton, and neither of them are one of your top bullpen arms.
Oh, speaking of things that we haven't even mentioned yet,
I would be perfectly fine with a guy like Steven Ridings in the bullpen and not spending $14 million on Zach Britton.
Who's the guy that's... Hold on. Let me go back to where I was just at. Iglesias?
Raciel Iglesias?
Yeah, he's a free agent.
Yeah, he's cool, but he's in his 30s,
he would probably get overpaid.
I'm tired of the high-dollar relievers. I really am.
Yeah, he would be overpaid for sure.
You know what's funny? That Baseball America projected 2025 lineup, you know who they have as the closer?
Who?
I don't know if you guys remember. If you do remember, don't say it. But if you don't remember...
Wait, say that again?
There's the Yankees 2025 projected lineup by Baseball America that I put in the Slack. Obviously, you don't check that. But who do you think the projected closer is?
Loaizaga.
Yeah. Oh no, I saw it. I did look at it.
It's your boy, Murph.
That's my boy,
Louis Medina. It's kind of wild.
For sure, dude. I love that kind of picture because I felt like So there's always like seemingly somebody who's going to be really hit or miss that's coming up through the pipeline. And I'm thinking back just a few years, it was Sevy who was like thought he was going to be the man, got shelled, went down, came back up, was good. Herman, same exact thing happened. Loizaga, same exact thing happened. I think the same thing's going to happen with Medina. I think he's going to come up a little too early. He's going to get bombshelled. Everyone's going to say he sucks. He's going to go down for a little while. He's going to come back up and he's going to be lights out. Probably in the bullpen because I think he's more similar to the Loizaga than the Herman and the Sevy. But
what do we have? 2 more years of Chapman
storyline.
Yeah,
I thought Clark Schmidt would be the same thing, but I feel like he's a little too far gone there.
I don't think Clark Schmidt's a bullpen arm. I think Clark Schmidt could be.
No. I'm just saying in terms of like going down and coming back up and being okay.
I think Clark
he never really got a shot though.
Yeah, I think Clark Schmidt.
He got banged around when he came up.
He was barely playing.
They put him in a bases loaded relief appearance when he's never thrown a bullpen
for his debut.
Well, I mean, yeah, but that's the same thing that happened to Sevy. That's the same thing that happened to.
Yeah, but you can't even write that
situation.
You can't even write that script yet.
All right, well, you can say that about Devi then if you can't say it about Clark Schmidt.
Yeah, agreed. I think they're both in.
I don't know if Devi's going to come back the same way either, but we'll see. Hopefully he does because we were talking about him as a potential 4-star 2 years ago.
Well, Schmidt was slated to have a real shot at being in the rotation this year if he didn't get hurt, but that's a conversation.
He was good when he was up too.
Yeah. So one thing I did also want to mention about the whole blow it up thing, just to circle back to what you kind of stemmed this whole little thing, this derailing of a conversation to. I'm not in the camp of like blow it up, but I've always been in the camp of like trim the fat where you can as you go along type thing. So obviously easier said than done. Make the right moves. Don't make fucking dumb contracts, that being big contracts. So like there is opportunity to be in a bad spot again if you get a fucking big, huge contract like Seager or whatever is going to end up desiring. Because, and also here's the thing. You say that now, like you guys are probably saying like, oh, it's not going to be like that. If it's Seager is so much different than like a Stanton who actually is starting to pan out now. But in the time when we didn't like Stanton, it's like, you would never think it's going to be a bad contract because that's the reason why they're getting such a contract that big is because at that moment, the player is fucking awesome. So, getting a contract that big on your books again is opportunity to fuck up. Just
so what are you going to do? Just
I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying not to do that. I'm saying to trim fat where you can as you go along. Don't completely overhaul, but retool as you go. Turning into a team that I want, which is like the good fielding team with speed and high contact. Like add that where you can. Stop adding the home run or bust bats, and in 3 years you'll be competing every year by adding big names, but you're also going to be retooling, and by 3 years' time you'll have a full-fledged awesome team through and through. That's what I'm saying. Like don't try to press too hard as you go. Like pick and choose the guys you want in what years you want them, and like so you don't have to settle as you go for the next couple of years, and then you can build something that's actually exactly like those things. Maybe they won't work out, maybe they will, but like try and get them along the way. Don't try and just fucking hit the home run this year. Spend a bunch, but don't tie yourself down for the next fucking. Don't give everybody 5-year, 10-year contracts, like that sort of thing. Give like a couple 1-year, 2-year contracts so you can compete for a World Series, but also have the flexibility to go out and get a Trey Turner again next year. Like always have the chance to land a big fish like that.
My whole thing about blowing it up wasn't. My whole thing about blowing it up wasn't like go that route. I'm kind of on the same page. It's just my whole point by saying that is that I don't think anybody on this team is untouchable. Like other than those core few people, like there's no reason to me that if you want to go get Matt Olson and you really think that he's going to benefit your team, which I think he would, I don't think that you should instantly shut it down if they bring up Glaber. I don't think you should instantly shut it down if they bring up any person. I think you listen to everything. There's no reason that anything should be off the table with this team right now because you haven't won dick in 12 years and you're not even close. So,
yep. I mean, that goes back to what we were saying before about the window. It's like the window of the baby bombers
closed.
Is done. Like move, like don't hold on to that, because if you keep holding on to that, then you're gonna break your neck looking back at it.
And
so
also, I think the
stop.
main thing with that is like,
well said, Damon.
change the team too. Like
be open to change,
different directive, like the entire outline of the team. Like don't like Baby Bombers. I'm saying, like you said, the window is dead, but that play style should also die with it. Like start a new, brand new like plan. Like don't do that anymore.
And like I'm going to use Gary as an example because I think he's the most likely to. Yeah, whatever. Like for instance, I have a feeling that like sometimes we hold on to a guy like Gary Sanchez because he's supposed to be the World Series catcher of the baby Bomber franchise or whatever. Like Gleyber Torres is supposed to be the second baseman of the Baby Bombers franchise, and that's why we should keep him around. And it's just like doing that, and just like that mentality, it just limits us from exploring new options that might actually work. And I think just going back to like the whole thing of the window and opening up a new window, some of these guys like Judge and Cole and Stanton, like, we need to use these guys in the next few years to win a championship. And we can do that by, it's weird because like we can do that by blowing it up, but we can also do that by just adding a few more players and a few key guys to building it around them. So
I think there's a good balance that we can do.
There's a good balance, yeah.
Like, yeah, maybe don't blow it up, but like Chandler said,
blow half of it up.
There are 3, maybe 4 untouchable people. Like Cole's untouchable. Like you just said, Loizaga is untouchable. Judge and Stan. Otherwise, I'm fine with giving up Gleyber. Like looking back at some of the trade offers that involved Gleyber, I'm like, damn, we should have done that. And at the time, we were like, not about it.
Yeah,
I mean, hindsight's 2020.
No,
you can look back on him now, but I'm just saying, I don't think he has a whole lot of value anymore.
Well,
and I don't think that his future's dead either. My whole point is that because of how much they've underperformed pretty much since 2017, you can make an argument for 2019 too, I guess, but the way that they've underperformed, especially the last 2 years, I'm pretty sure if you combine like the midway point of 2020 after their hot start through 2021, they're below 500 or right at it. That right there, this team that you have is not it. I'm sorry, nothing can be off the table. And yeah, you can kick yourself in the ass for the trades you didn't make, but don't make the same mistake again. If you get that opportunity now, don't instantly shut it down.
What I was going to say is like, the whole value thing. It's like, we talked about this on a couple of podcasts previously, but like, don't not trade somebody because their value isn't what it should be. Like, if there's an offer on the table and it's going to make the team better next year, just like, you shouldn't be afraid to do that. And you shouldn't be waiting for some guy's value to potentially go up to then potentially trade him at the right time.
So don't hold on for dear life.
Don't hold on to the perfect time, because the perfect time is never going to come.
May never come. Could come.
May never come. Yeah. But like the stars, a lot of the stars need to align for the perfect time for, last season, I'm talking about 2020, when Luke Voigt has MVP season, that was the perfect time to trade him away, but they held on to him.
Again, hindsight's 2020. And with Gleyber, I agree with you, but with Gleyber, I personally think, I mean, right now, obviously, he has no trade value, and if you were to sell him off right now, it would be getting pennies in the dollar. Trading Gleyber away specifically would not be worth it based on how young he is. I don't care what you say about that whole thing about like his value is never going to come up, or like don't hold on to people, just hold on to them in the hopes that they come back up. Gleyber, I think, is one that does not apply to that. I think don't trade Gleyber unless his value goes up. And when his value goes up, and that's the thing, when his value goes back up, you're not going to want to trade him. So that's the same thing with Stan right now. Stan's the exact same way. Great minds think alike. Like
I'm agreeing. I'm not saying I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying, again, it all boils down to the one thing that nobody is untouchable. Any offer that don't immediately discard anything because of the name. That's all I'm saying. Yes, I'm not advocating for one person to be traded over the other. I'm just saying.
Agreed.
Don't be closed-minded, because that's what they've done for years, and look where it's fucking got them. They don't want to trade people at the deadline. They don't want to do any of this stuff because, they want to hold on to everybody. You know what? That's not possible. You can't hold on to everybody and win unless you have the core four again, which you don't. Sorry to break it to you. Derek Jeter's not on this team. Jorge Posada's not on this team. So
Jonathan
you don't have
on this team though.
Yeah, he is. But you don't have the core four. Nobody's untouchable. Retool, do whatever you have to do, but don't be closed-minded to anybody other than Judge. And
those are some good closing words there, Chandler. Anybody else have any final thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Let's go, Braves.
This is a good first offseason episode, boys. Going forward, I think we're gonna have more. We're gonna come up with a plan, like to specifically go about this offseason, and we might go position by position, stuff like that. Well, more updates on that to come. Obviously, gonna go over news and stuff, and then as we progress to towards the season, closer to spring training, we do roll call episodes, which are individual player episodes for every player on the Yankees. So that's fun. Those are like 15-minute mini episodes. They usually end up being like 30 minutes because we can't shut the fuck up. But yeah, those are fun. We end up releasing those like rapid fire every other day leading up to the season. Yeah, those will come up sooner than we even fucking think. And yeah, I mean, this is going to be definitely an interesting offseason. We got winter meetings will come up sooner than we think. There's going to be fucking maybe a lockout. Who knows? There's a lot that we're going to talk about this offseason, and we're going to be here with you for the ride, and we hope you guys tag along. We're going to do these once a week, every Friday, recording them on Thursdays. If you want to see the episodes live, make sure to check us out on the Bronx Pinstripes YouTube page. Subscribe to that for the live video version the night before. And as always, if you could leave us a review on Spotify, not Spotify, they don't have those I don't know why, but on Apple Podcasts, if you could leave us a 5-star rating and review, we'd love that. We'd love you guys. And yeah, go Yankees. Here's to a good offseason.
Let's do it.
Also, kind of wild that that ESPN posted once about the World Series since the Dodgers got eliminated. They posted one time about baseball, so that's just one little fun thing that ESPN sucks. And
they didn't even say congrats to the Braves. They just said the Dodgers were eliminated. That was the best part.
No, that was I'm saying when the last post was the Dodgers being eliminated, and then after that, the next post was when they won the World Series.
Right, but I think it's funny how they instead of congratulating the Braves on advancing, they just said the Dodgers were eliminated.
They did that with the Yankees too. I think those were the
they didn't say like the Dodgers advanced. They just said
because the Braves responded and they were like, "Hey, we moved on" or something.
Yeah,
like that. No.
Hey,
that was a different thing. They were posting that like, "Oh, the Dodgers are ready." They were in like pre-games, and then the Braves Twitter account like responded like, "Hey, we're playing too."
Yeah, ridiculous. Whatever.
Fuck them.